Make sure that everyone has been found and identified and every family has some peace.
Hundreds of miles of death and devastation spawned by at least 5 confirmed tornadoes are being investigated by the National Weather Service.
We actually have one of the, arguably the longest tornado tracks on the ground in recorded history. At this point, it's scripted at 227 miles long.
Dawson Springs mayor says 75% of the town is gone.
It's just devastating. You can't ride through town and look at it.
Kentucky's governor says he believes one of the most rare and powerful tornadoes struck the state.
When what I think will be an F4 and F5 tornado touches down and stays on the ground for 200 straight miles in a state with 120 counties, you have this many counties that have damage and this many counties that need help.
Survivors say they feel lucky to be alive.
Being able to even just talk to, let alone hug and kiss the people that I love was amazing.
Since that once-in-a-century outbreak of tornadoes across America's heartland. In Kentucky tonight, the state is in a rescue and recovery mode with more than 120 people unaccounted for. But the governor says he believes that number is even higher. Residents are trying to pick up the pieces in what could be a years-long recovery. Experts say insurance losses from the destructive tornadoes could reach $5 billion across 6 states. The death toll now stands at 88, and we're now learning that includes at least 13 children, including 9-year-old Aniston Rackley from Missouri. This photo was taken as she sheltered in place inside a bathroom with her 2 sisters just moments before the storm hit. Well, President Biden today approved an emergency declaration for counties in Tennessee and Illinois where that Amazon warehouse collapse claimed 6 lives. The president also declared an emergency for Kentucky a couple days ago, and he'll visit the state on Wednesday to survey the damage. And that's where CBS's Lilia Luciano will lead off our coverage tonight in Dawson Springs. Good evening, Lilia.
Nara, good evening. Everywhere you look here, the devastation is just disorienting. Nothing makes sense, and so many people are still missing. The Kentucky National Guard and FEMA are assisting in the search over here for any signs of life. And today we traveled to an even smaller town that lost 6% of its population in just one night.
Cattle rancher Danny Miller says he has seen tornadoes in his lifetime, but none like the one that took the lives of his brother Billy and his wife.
They lived in a double wide that just exploded, I reckon. They said they was found outside the house, laying on their sides, facing each other.
They were always together. So that's the way they went home.
Danny and his wife Jane say they depended on Billy to keep Lost Valley Farm, which has been in the family for 4 generations. But when the tornado killed 40% of his cows, he said he wanted to quit.
But we hadn't lost this many at one time.
It's hard to make it on a small farm, especially to depend it on. Your total livelihood comes from it.
The tiny community of Bremen, Kentucky suffered great loss. At least 11 people were killed in a town of 200.
We still definitely are in rescue and recovery. We have people missing. I still expect that we will find at least some more bodies. There is just so much destruction. I hope that that's not the case, but it's still an expectation.
At least 17 people died here in Hopkins County. There's an urgent search and rescue mission for more than 80 people who are still unaccounted for.
All right, let's break. Let's go get it. Let's finish this up today.
Dave Jardin and his volunteer group Sheepdog Impact Assistance hit the ground in Dawson Springs soon after the tornado struck to provide natural disaster relief.
We're all veterans. We're all first responders. We've seen bad things. If we find a body, it's going to be a bad day. If they find a body, it could be very well be a neighbor, friend, family, loved one. It would be an excruciatingly bad day. So if we can take that off their plate, and we'll shoulder that as far as not letting them have to.
Danny Miller, whose small cattle business was devastated, told me he won't quit after all because he's thinking about the next generation. I asked him, what would you tell President Biden, who's going to be around here tomorrow? And he says, we need help. All right.
There was also a 3-year-old boy killed in the storm.
I wish I could have saved my son.
Huda Alabahi's heart is broken. Her son Jaleel is dead. Last Friday night, when the tornado alarm went off on her cell phone, she grabbed Jaleel and her youngest son, Julius, and ran into a bathroom closet.
By that time, everything was just falling on top of us.
The tornado obliterated the 100-year-old home that she's rented for 5 years. Where were the babies?
Right here. One was in this arm and one was in this arm. I never saw my 3-year-old because my face couldn't turn that way, but I did see the baby, and he cried, and then he just stopped. So at that time, I thought he was God, but he wasn't.
While pinned under the rubble, Alubahi says she never heard Jaleel make a sound. Did Jaleel die in your arms?
He did.
Jaleel Dunbar was one of at least 12 children in Kentucky to die because of these tornadoes. While Jaleel died in his mother's right arm, Huda's 1-year-old son Julius was untouched in her left arm. It is unfathomable to her how that could have happened. But then again, so too is this.
I don't care about anything in this house. I just need to figure out how we're gonna move forward without him, you know.
The tornado that obliterated Huda's home also destroyed the homes of her aunt and her mother. Nora.